Welcome everybody. This is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show. And I am back and better and ready to go. I know I've said I was back in previous videos and I was so excited about getting started again, and then you wouldn't hear from me for like a year or so, and then I'd come back a year later and say, I'm back! But this time, I think I'm back. No promises, but I've kind of been just, I've been getting interviewed from all these different people in the raw vegan community. Now everybody's like wanting to interview me recently. I don't know why. I've done like 6 interviews just recently, and you know, I start to like look on YouTube and I see like all the stuff that's going on now, and I'm just like, oh my God. So here I am trying to, maybe like I could like throw a little spice into the mix. And as you can see, the title of this YouTube video is 23-year ex-raw vegan comes out about the raw vegan diet. Yep, that's right. Clickbait like you wouldn't believe. No shame here. But it's kind of the same, it's the truth. That's what I'm doing. I'm coming out about it. That's what I'm gonna do. So, I was on a raw vegan diet for 23 years, and I think I had become a little bit more famous. I'm not talking like Brad Pitt famous or like super famous, like maybe if I walked into a Whole Food store when I was touring, somebody would recognize me, but not like super famous, but famous amongst the health community. The health community, that's a pretty big community. And it was more than I realized. And when I was on the raw vegan diet for 23 years, and then I almost died. And then when I finally came out talking about it, there were people I hadn't heard of, people from the carnivore diet, like big time people supposedly, who were just like, oh, you gotta eat meat, like, you know, stuff like that. And I knew they were like big time because like people in the comment section were like, oh my goodness, it's you, how are you doing? I'm so glad to see you here, da 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 da. Anyway, and then just raw vegans, oh, he did it wrong, or how can you do a diet wrong? Like, you either do it or you don't. Anyway, we're going to get into that, all of that in a minute. So I thought I would share what my feelings are on a raw vegan diet now. Why many people want to know, like, raw vegans can't handle the fact that a long-term raw food eater failed. So they like to label me with all of these reasons why. I've heard it all. You wouldn't believe it. I did the raw vegan diet wrong. Okay. Like, for example, since I've been getting interviewed, I haven't even looked at these YouTube videos of other people in a while. I've just been out of the scene. It's kind of like, wow. But then I get back in, you're just like, oh God. Anyway, so I'm watching like these old-time raw vegans interview each other, and it's almost like they're fighting to do the raw vegan diet correctly, like, because they're both are worried about osteoporosis. Their levels were down. They're on calcium supplements, B12, all these other things. Supposedly the raw vegan diet. I ended up after 23 years of being raw vegan, with severe osteoporosis, and at first I was attributing it to being on prednisone for a certain amount of time, because that can cause a calcium thing. But after watching all these like long-term raw foodists, one of them was saying to the other that many long-term raw foodists have been having this problem with their bones and stuff like that. So now I'm kind of like, maybe it wasn't the prednisone. I was on a raw vegan diet for 23 years. Anyway, so I ended up to the point where I was dying on the raw vegan diet, and everybody was saying I was doing it wrong. And so I watched all these people who healed from Crohn's disease naturally. They would only eat bananas for so long. I almost killed myself from eating only bananas blended for so long. That's when I almost died, with a little bit of spirulina in it just to get some greens. I was just living off that, and then I literally died in Angela's arms. And there just happened to be a guy there, a doctor type person, who was here to give me a vitamin C drip. He injected me with cortisone, started my heart again by doing this leg thing with the doing the cortisone at the same time, and that was the first time I went to the hospital. So here I was, like, on an all fruit diet. But before that, I was also very ill. Like, I couldn't even eat anymore. That's why I had to do that. But and I fasted. I tried everything. I was just so sure and narrow-minded, like raw vegans are today, in terms of everything, like judgmental and stuff like that. That's just like it. That's why I'm back. I'm like the judgmental. It's like, before I keep going on about how I survived almost dying, this judgmental stuff in the raw vegans movement, it's not, life is not about food. It's like you classify yourself as raw vegan, kind of like making you sound better than other people because you're raw vegan. Oh, it's almost like a snobby type thing. And it just drives me absolutely nuts. The way a person eats has nothing to do with who that person is, how they feel every day, who they are. Like, you throwing judgmental energy at them, they don't need to have that. They feel that. They don't need that. You know what I mean? It's like unfair to be so judgmental. So what if somebody, a long-term raw food eater, starts eating a little bit of purple potatoes? See, I'm starting to get into the whole new drama and stuff of the raw vegan movement. He's a human being, and so are you. It's like no one is better than anybody else. If somebody's on a carnivore diet, you're not better than them. I mean, God said, I will not judge you on the food you eat, so you should not either. Those are pretty strong words, and they're there for a freaking reason. Excuse me, my language. Anyway, so it just, like, it breaks my heart. We're all human beings here, and it doesn't matter what a person eats. I'm going to go into my viewpoints. Like, I know I'm not on a raw vegan diet anymore. And I wish I could have been, but I was forced to get off of it because anything I would eat, like any roughage or anything, I would go into absolute pain. I had to stop. There was nothing I could do about it. So I was forced to. I would be on a raw vegan diet today if it wasn't for dying at that moment, which I'm about to tell you. But it's all about eating healthy. It's about getting as much dense nutrition while harming the body the least. But you got to make sure. So it's like, the less you eat, they say, the better. So let's look at this in a standpoint of, it's the less you eat, but making sure you get the right sufficient amount of nutrition so you can flourish and take benefit of bombarding the body with food and stuff like that. So you want to eat the least amount, but the most nutritionally dense. And there are many nutrients that people are having difficult with on a raw vegan diet. Now, juicing is a great way, I feel like, to get calcium with spinach and carrot spinach juice. But you got to drink that stuff every day, and nobody's going to do it. That's like what Dr. Norman Walker did. So many raw foodists are becoming very deficient, and they're ending up with osteoporosis and stuff like this. Another issue. Okay, also, let's look real quickly at long-term raw vegans. If the raw vegan diet was so good, we should be seeing all these raw vegans living to 100 years old. But I don't know anybody that has. Arnold Ehret, Ann Wigmore, Paul Bragg. None of the pioneers I've seen live to 100 years old except Dr. Norman Walker. I am impressed with Dr. Fred Bishi. He's like at 92 right now, and he's an anomaly. He's like, I don't know what's going on there. but that is like special. But I want to like state one thing real quick. Dr. Norman Walker lived to 99, and so did Dr. Fred Beesche's doing really well. It wasn't the food. They both believe in God. Dr. Norman Walker talks about it all the time. I used to be like Fred Beesche's apprentice for 10 years back in the day. And all he used to do daily was try to get me to believe in Jesus Christ. So all I'm saying is there's another component involved beyond food. That's it. I'm not going to go preach or anything like that. I don't do things like that. But if we're just going to look at the physical and all the nutrition, Dr. Norman Walker is like the only raw food person, pioneer, who juiced every single day, crazy amounts, who lived to be 99. Now, I've studied his work extensively. I've read every last book. Like, no raw vegans are living as old as he did. They're all dying. For example, Hilda Lawson, it was a friend on Facebook of mine. I think cancer got her. Like, she was, in her last moments, she kind of contacted me asking for help. She was so, like, stiff-minded that she wasn't willing to do anything different. She just had this belief, like I had. It killed me. I died. And I was brought back to life because I wasn't willing to open my mind to other ideas here. And this is, I'm only here right now and I'm surviving because I opened my mind. It was death. Death. There was recently a girl who died. She was like super skinny, malnourished, only believed in raw vegan. That was me. I was taking it to death. I was like, sure, fasting. Like, I was just doing everything. I couldn't eat anymore. And luckily, God willing, gave me the light to like, I was offered meds so many times and I was not willing to do it. They saved my life. And it could have done the same for many of these other long-term raw vegans that have died, unfortunately. There was another woman named Summer who, when I toured, she lived in North Carolina, same deal. David Klein was a big-time, he had Crohn's, he was a big-time raw food eater, he wouldn't eat much nuts since he was into the fruit diet. He died. I know like they make announcements that their husband died for this reason and that reason, but it's the same reason why I almost died, not willing to open up and look at other avenues and stuff like this. There was a woman, okay, so I share health updates on my newsletter list at therawfoodworld.com. I give health updates, and there were a couple times where I fell and I wasn't doing too good. And then I get all of this unsolicited advice from everybody. Like, I know people are trying to help, but hundreds of people just giving me nonsense. And, you know, there's gems in there, but it was just like, you just roll your eyes and you get frustrated. I would be recommended 20 different gurus, 100 different supplements. If I did everything that all of the people said, I would be traveling the entire United States for 3 years. And I would be like vomiting supplements up because I wouldn't be able to get them all down. Anyways, that's how crazy it was. But this one woman was like, oh, you need Robert Morse and his products and stuff like this. And she was a completely raw vegan. And then like 6 months later, she ended up in the hospital. And just as a joke, I've been really good friends with her. I was just like, hey, you need Robert Morse. And she laughed and we both laughed together. It was just a joke. It wasn't anything malicious. And then I never heard from her again. I literally think she died in the hospital. I've seriously texted her every single day, like, I don't know where she went. And those were my last words. I was just like, anyway, so if you, like, I'm not saying go off the raw vegan diet, and I'm not saying it's bad, but you just keep an open mind if you run into problems. Like, don't kill yourself like I did and many other people who didn't make it. I was lucky, thank you God, to get out of this mess. Anyway, so what I'm trying to discuss now is certain things that raw vegans don't get enough of. And so Dr. Norman Walker, how did he do it? He lived to be 100 years old. I studied his books extensively, and I noticed that there were 2 non-raw vegan items that he ate. I seriously studied everything. He drank crazy amounts of juices, ate salads, ate fruit, ate all that stuff, nuts and seeds, and juiced like crazy. But he also ate egg yolks and Swiss cheese, he mentioned. Now, he would cook the egg yolks, and that's all he would eat. He said the whites, he doesn't eat the egg whites because he doesn't want it to clog up his system. I mean, if you look at an egg, it almost looks like all the nutrition is in the yolk, and that bright orange, and then like all the other stuff just looks like waste to me. I don't know. It sounded good to me. So he just only ate the egg yolks cooked, and he didn't do it every day, but he just ate that every single day. Now, the egg yolk, everyone thinks that the whites have more protein, but it's the egg yolk, that's where all the nutrition is, and there's actually more protein in egg yolk than egg whites. If you look at it from a volume standpoint, if you take the egg white out of an egg and you take the egg yolk and you separate them, there's 2 times the amount of volume there is compared to the egg yolk, and they're almost equal in protein. So if you eat 2 egg yolks, it's like the same volume as 1 egg white. And you get like crazy more protein than the egg white. And all the nutrition is in there. And the key ingredient that is missing in the raw vegan diet that's in the egg yolk is choline. It is a critical neurotransmitter. It's like a precursor to our acetylcholine neurotransmitter. We're trying to avoid becoming senile in the long run. So when you need choline. Now, on a raw vegan diet, the choline is highest in egg yolks compared to any other food on the planet. You can't get choline from anywhere else. It's an essential nutrient. Raw vegans aren't getting it. It is in things like broccoli and stuff like it's in meat and fish and stuff like that, but it is in broccoli. But you would need to eat 8 cups of broccoli to get the 450 something milligrams that you need per day of choline. Who's going to eat 8 cups of broccoli every single day? That's the top food. I mean, we actually just, if you want to do raw vegan, we've come out with sunflower lecithin. It's not sunflower seeds in their whole food. The oil, and it's been pressed out into a powder. We've just isolated the choline aspect. This is what I do. I'm trying to help everybody, like, with what I do. People call me a product pusher and stuff like this. But 1 tablespoon of sunflower lecithin, it's way better than soy lecithin. They both have the choline in it. But, soy is usually not organic, GMO. This is like non-GMO, clean, healthy, organic sunflower lecithin, just straight from sunflower seeds, and 1 tablespoon equals, it's a little less than 1 egg yolk. So that's available. That's the only thing that you can eat on a raw vegan diet, unless you want to go with soy lecithin. It's probably cheaper. And these are like critical nutrients. I ended up with osteoporosis. These guys ended up with are scared and taking calcium supplements. It's almost like you have to do the raw vegan diet correctly. It's like there's so much fear there because so many people are failing. And I'm on your side, raw vegans. I'm just trying to help here from my experience of being on a raw vegan diet for 23 years. I think it's a great thing. I'm more about like eating the least amount of food, but the most nutritionally dense to where I get everything that I need and there's the least amount of harm on your body because you're eating the least amount that you possibly can. That's the ideal diet. And the reason why a raw vegan diet is so good is because it's all water and you can overeat and you're still not putting such a burden on the human body unless you do crazy amounts of fruit and all that sugar and stuff. So you could do a lot of fruit, but just not like all day long, crazy amounts, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. That's for you guys to fight over in the 80-10-10 raw vegan realm. I don't care. But you're missing nutrients there. People are dying. There's so many. Okay, so Fred Bishi, he's doing well. 92 years old. He's the only raw vegan that I know of. He even takes supplements. I know he takes a B12. I've been with him for so many years and stuff like that, and I've seen what he does. And he has his own green food powder. He takes enzymes. Like, he's not like the raw vegan is like, oh, you can't take supplements, you can't do this, you can't do that, blah, 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 blah. I have seen in videos, he's like, oh, sometimes I forget where my keys are. He's like, it's with I don't know how he's getting choline. This is like the most essential neurotransmitter for our brain. Like, all I'm saying is there are certain nutrients that we need. And then every person has a different body and different blood types and all these different things. And like, as I said, Fred Bishi is an anomaly and is doing great. I can't believe it. I wonder if he's taking calcium supplements or what he does, or is he juicing carrot spinach every single day? I've got stuff coming. I don't want people call me product pusher, so I don't want to go crazy, but what I'm offering, it's not coming for a month, so I don't even want to mention it right now. What I've brought to the world recently are juice powders. And I know, like, the raw vegans are just like, oh, you gotta juice the real thing, and da-da-da-da-da. But for the first time ever, we've developed a way to where, through this very, very special process, it's not a process that you've ever heard of before. They juice the wheatgrass and barley and carrot and beets with a huge single auger juicer. It's like it's bigger than me, the single auger. It's just ridiculously huge. I've actually seen it in action. And they somehow suspend it in the middle of the air, the juice. And then they dry it through a bioactive dehydration process where it does not go above 102 degrees. They said 106, but they're saying they have to state that just in case. And it just, I have photos of the juice molecules. They're wet, right? And then all of a sudden in this bioactive dehydration, they just drop into powders. And then I got a microscopic picture of those little juice powders. It looks like it's still wet. Tests show that the flavonoids are still there, the polyphenols there, but in other dried juice products, they're not there. And that's why I get that most people are just like, okay, Matt, you're just selling whatever. But no, for the first time ever, we have discovered a way to maintain the nutritional integrity of the vegetable juice for the first time ever. And not only does it look like actual juice when you mix it into the water, but also it tastes like the real thing. It's absolutely crazy. The thing is, I have 12 different juice powders on my website. They didn't have carrot juice without maltodextrin because that's what most people get. They haven't made it without maltodextrin in 20 years. I personally just did a special run 6 months ago. I've been waiting for them to put me in. This is just straight carrot juice powder. Carrot juice is what Dr. Norman Walker lived off of. It has more vitamins than any other food or element in the world. And there's no fiber. It just goes in. It's the ultimate multivitamin, and these juice powders are raw and living. These juice powder. There was one woman who took our juice powders and was like, these are better than the real thing. She said, Matt, I think it's because they're so concentrated. And I am not, like, I've been juicing all my life. I'm a seasoned juicer, and this is like, no, I'm not just saying this. And it's so dense and concentrated, it's absolutely crazy. So this carrot juice is coming in less than a month. They already made it. It's just getting lab tested and stuff like that. It's a huge resistance to infection. Dr. Norman Walker actually says it's better than taking 30 calcium tablets when you drink carrot juice. And yes, if you're drinking carrot juice daily, that's great. And it has he says that there's more vitamins in carrots than any other thing in the world. So I got samples of this stuff and I've been taking it. My vision feels like it's improved because of if I told you how much vitamin A is in a teaspoon of this stuff, you would be mind blown. And like, it's a huge resistant to infection, which is really good for me. And I feel the difference. I just feel like this is going to take my health and so many people others' health to the next level. We've been supplementing our carrot juice powder on our website with a different one until this is ready. And that, I don't get it. It's not nearly as good as this. I was just getting it for, this is like the type of thing where you're like, okay, he got a juice powder. It wasn't made from the same company that our other 11 juice powders are made from. They're all single ingredient with nothing else except for 3 of them because of the natural sugars in grapefruit, orange, lemon, it's 4 of them, and tart cherry juice. The natural sugars it needs, acacia is what I use. It's a prebiotic, completely healthy. Nothing else is in there. All the other ones are single ingredients. Barley, wheatgrass, oatgrass, beet juice. You put the beet juice directly on your tongue. It is so exquisite. It's the real thing. And there's so much benefits. It's crazy. I put a tablespoon of the grapefruit juice powder in my orange juice every morning. It just dissolves the mucus as it goes down. Plus, it has salicylic acid. Dr. Norman Walker says it just like dissolves calcification in the human body. It's like the best thing to do for that. I've been taking that every morning and feel great. Anyway, I totally got off track here. So I'm sitting here. You guys call me product pushers, and I'm just making the raw vegan diet work for you. Like, this carrot juice powder is a multivitamin, crazy amounts of calcium, and all the things I do are like this. Brown seaweed extract is the most potent seaweed that's like the juice of kelp that you've ever seen. It's people in Japan live to be 100 years old because of seaweed, supposedly the fucoidins in the seaweed. This has more fucoidins and in the most bioavailable form because it's the juice of kelp. I'm done. I'm not going to go into that. We're talking about the raw vegan diet, why it doesn't work. We first off, we need calcium. You want to be drinking crazy amounts of carrot juice in order to make it work. I don't know, everybody says in nature you should be able to just eat what's in nature, but it's not working for people, guys. Why aren't there lots of people 100 years old on the raw vegan diet? It just doesn't happen. Everybody's dying at the same time, no matter what you eat. However, you're still judgmental about everybody who decides to have a cracker. Anyway. So choline is critical for our brains, and you're not getting it on the raw vegan diet unless you're eating 4 tablespoons of sunflower lecithin. It's really good stuff though, because it's really good for raw vegan recipes because it acts as an emulsifier, and it's actually really good for the colon. It is one of the main building blocks of the mucosal layer, and it has crazy amounts of phosphorus, organic phosphorus, which is critical for the pineal gland, our sex gland, all of our endocrine glands. You got to read this mind-blowing article. It's like seriously the most important spiritual nutrient that you could take because of what it does for the brain, the pineal, all the glands. That's a whole nother video. We'll do that another day. I need to finish this and how I died on the raw vegan diet. So here I was on the raw vegan diet. I died in Angela's arms. They injected me took me to the hospital. I got better very quickly. But then I started to fall again and again. I was bleeding out of my stool. Like, I would end up back in the hospital over and over again. Like, I wasn't willing to do meds. I was so narrow-minded and was like, raw vegan, raw vegan. People say, you did it wrong. Whatever. Like, come on, how do you do something wrong? Like, what, I didn't juice? Which I did. I didn't take B12? Like, if it's the ideal diet, why do you need B12? I didn't juice? I didn't, what? Like, I didn't need enough fruit? Are you out of your mind? What is more fruit gonna do? I died on fruit. I didn't, what? What didn't I do? Is it because I did colonics frequently? You know how many people do colonics every single day and have zero problems? Some people say it's because I ate too many superfoods. I didn't even eat that many superfoods, and when I do it in small amounts. And let's just look at the colonic, because that's the big elephant in the room, what one crazy woman said. And so, before I died, there were many years where I stopped colonics and enemas. I just stopped it completely because I was worried, I was having colon issues. I just stopped it, and I was fine in terms of not doing them. If the raw vegan diet is so good, why didn't I heal on a raw vegan diet after stopping the colonics and enemas? I tried for years after that. There was a good year or two where I did your fruit fasts, I did juice fasts, I did everything. Nothing would heal me. I did dry fasts, water fasts. Nothing would heal this. And I followed people who supposedly healed it on a raw vegan diet to a T. I could do that. I have the ability to eat whatever diet I want, put down the emotional stuff, and just do it. I did a raw vegan diet for 23 years, no problem. It's not a problem. So why didn't I heal on the raw vegan diet? Why did I get sick on the raw vegan diet if it's so good? It's supposed to heal everything. Why are so many people dying on the raw vegan diet? Anyway, okay, so I'm not against the raw vegan diet. It's not about that. I'm against the judgmental aspects of it. The narrow-mindedness. Who cares what you put in your mouth? You could look at a raw vegan who eats crazy amounts of stuff but falls in the raw vegan realm and everybody's happy with them. Not just, oh, you good boy, you did well. Yet someone who eats very small amount of food, let's just say they eat completely raw vegan with one egg yolk or one egg yolk a day, and eats crazy amounts of small amounts of food. This is a much healthier diet than probably all the raw vegans, but they're judged upon. This is what drives me nuts. So here I am in the hospital recovering from death, and they discovered I had severe osteoporosis, which is unheard of in a man my age. I even drink juice every single day because I was addicted to Dr. Norman Walker's ways. I was just certain that was it. Maybe it was the prednisone. I don't know. I'm just looking at all these long-term raw vegans and, So I ended up on a raw vegan diet, dying in the hospital, still tried to heal naturally, wouldn't go off the raw vegan diet, did everything that I heard, and I was refusing meds for years, and I just kept getting worse. I would be in a much better place now if back then I would have been open-minded and just taken a med. I wouldn't have degraded as far as I did. And it probably wouldn't even it could have just been temporary. It got so bad about me going back and forth from the hospital trying to be on a raw vegan diet because of this narrow-mindedness that I ended up having to remove my colon. Yeah, and I want to cry about it right now. I'm not happy about this. I am happy about being alive and how it's changed me, on a level you wouldn't believe. I'm not saying raw vegans are bad or it's not possible, because it is possible. I just think that we need a couple pushes here with, choline, making sure we're getting the calcium and B12, vitamin D, and that's what I provide. And in such a potent, concentrated form. It's just crazy. And then I get judged upon. And my diet, I'm not like some fat guy. I tried to do this concept. I eat very little. From being on a raw vegan diet for 23 years, I'm limited. I'm very sensitive and limited in what I can eat. I've pushed it to the edge to see what I can do. And it's just, yeah. So anyway, let's get back here. So finally, after dying and then just not being able to function in life anymore, where I'm crawling to the bathroom, ended up in a diaper, I was like, this isn't the quality of life I want. So I said, give me the meds. And I started eating different foods. First off, eating any type of raw vegetable, I would go into excruciating pain. I couldn't eat them anymore. And it was the same thing for many fruit and nuts. Oh my God, that was worse than vegetables. I couldn't eat a raw vegan diet anymore. And I was forced to eat other things like eggs. I had to live off of eggs for a while as I healed or tried to do it. I couldn't eat raw vegan anymore. So anyway, here I was, went on meds. It was too late because I degraded so much the meds wouldn't even work. So I removed my colon. Or I was gonna die. I had to, you guys. And here I am, I have children. Being right about the raw vegan diet isn't as important as being alive. And I'm healthy and happy. It's been a very crazy, wild journey. And I'm off prednisone, I'm off all meds, except for one, Humira, unfortunately. But I'm still a raw vegan at heart on many levels. I am fighting to get off the stuff. I've just had very unfortunate experiences with everything. The surgery was supposed to heal me, and it possibly didn't because they misdiagnosed. We're not going to worry about that, but it seems like everything's okay, and I just have to wean off of Humira at some point, and that's my goal in life. I don't even want to talk about doctors with the mindset that most people have in the raw vegans movement, because it's just like they are the evil. And yes, you have to be careful and not let them dominate to where you do make mistakes, because a lot of mistakes do happen. But anyway, back to this. So here I was. I had to eat other foods. Now, due to the unfortunate things that happen, I have something called pouchitis, it sounds like. And I'm trying to heal that naturally, of course, not do antibiotics. And I have pain when I eat raw foods, but I do fine eating my regular diet that I do now. And I'll go into that later. We're just trying to talk about something else. It's obviously almost as healthy as it gets not being on a raw vegan diet, in my personal opinion. So at this moment, I can't even eat raw. Let's just say I was able to eat a raw vegan diet now, today. Would I do it? The answer is no. However, the amount of percentage of raw vegan that I would eat compared to what it is now would just be way more. Because I love it. I love every aspect of it. I mean, and the other stuff would be much less. But, there are certain things that I have learned to enjoy that provide that crazy nutritional, dense nutrition. For example, cooked egg yolks. The amount of choline and organic phosphorus and lecithin, that's like a whole other thing. I wish I could go into that, but we're already almost at 40 minutes here. It is so good for the brain and spiritual facility. It's like we use phosphorus for thoughts. This is like lost information. I put it all, like all these doctors from the all throughout the 19th century shared this information. It's just been lost. It's almost like they're trying to dumb us down. This is like the most critical nutrient from the sunflower lecithin or the egg yolks for our health, our brain. Our pineal gland is pretty much, it's made out of lecithin practically. It's like the organic phosphorus is the main thing within our pineal gland. And if you're not eating egg yolks, the sunflower lecithin is just like critical. Anyway, so I wouldn't eat a raw vegan diet. I would eat huge salads if I could, probably with what I'm eating right now. But I can't. But in the future, there might be a chance that I can. So no, I do not think the raw vegan, okay, I'm just gonna straight out say it. I'm a raw vegan at heart. I'm natural. I'm fighting for you guys all the time. Like everything I do, if I'm dealing with doctors, like I'm a nightmare. I personally have been forced to do that, and there's a reason, thank God, for it all. Be kind to each other. Don't judge other people for what they, who cares? They're human beings. Just, there's no need to judge people. I was watching, I don't even want to go into it, but like they were just like so snobby about this person who wasn't eating raw vegan. And it was just like, anyway, you guys, I'm just like, this is why I'm back. I feel like I have something to share that will just like, that will just, it will be mind-blowing to like help. I'm just trying to like fix the narrow-minded glitch in the raw vegan movement. I just want to like help, if that makes sense. I'm on the raw vegan side. I will fight for you against the carnivores. I will fight for you. I understand you. But please try to understand me and be kind to everyone. Don't be judgmental. You are not better because you eat raw vegan. You're just not. There's nothing wrong with other people eating whatever the hell they want. My dad is 300 pounds. Goes to Kentucky Fried Chicken. He's 84. I don't know much raw food eaters besides Fred Bishi that's made it past 84. Leave people alone. Do your raw vegan diet and shut up. There's just no need to, let's just be friends with everybody. There's no need to be like this. Gosh. Gosh. But yeah, I don't think the raw vegan diet is the ideal diet anymore. There, I said it. Eating the least amount of food possible, making sure you get the right amount of nutrition, the least amount of food, the least amount of density, the least amount of volume, quantity, with just the enough amount of nutrition to feed the body everything it needs is the best diet. Right there, that's it. It's not raw vegan, it's not keto, it's not vegan, it's not raw. It's whatever you make of it. And it's your job to figure out what that is. And that is the best diet in the world. All right? All right. And I'm providing nutritionally dense, crazy amounts of nutrition in different forms for people to get the least, so they could eat the least amount of obstruction in the human body, but get crazy amounts of nutrition. This carrot juice powder that's coming goes beyond anything. Here's my sample. This carrot juice powder is going to save the world. It's going to save the world. Right here. Right here. Do you realize what this stuff is? This is like, it just dissolves in your mouth. It's such a fine powder that just dissolves. It's just like eating juice. It's raw and living, has retained all the nutrients. No other juice powder does this. Don't get the carrot juice powder we have right now, because that's from a different company and it's not good like this. This is raw and living. All the other juice powders, however, are from this company. Get the beet juice and just put it directly in your mouth like this. It has such an exquisite taste. Here's the beet juice powder. We have this on our site right now. You guys have no idea what we're dealing with here. If you buy one of our beet juice powders at therawfoodworld.com, put it directly in your mouth like this, you will never doubt what I'm saying again. You're gonna be like, bling! Pure, raw, living juice nourishment. You're eating pure, raw, living juice nourishment. Nothing else out there like that. Here's my straight alfalfa juice. This is the second most in vitamins. Has more chlorophyll than any other food on the planet, alfalfa. The roots go way down into the ground. This is the #1 mineral supplement available. Well, there's ocean ones that are good too, but for plant vegetation, this is it. Norman Walker said when alfalfa is not available, he would take the alfalfa juice powder. He didn't have this alfalfa juice powder back then. He'd probably be mind blown. If he knew what we had here today, this is what I do, guys. This is what I've been doing. I haven't been around for a long time, so you've missed out on like all the crazy things that are going on. This isn't a juice powder. This is something completely different. I don't even want you guys. This video is like way too long already. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this video up. I'm gonna do a video just on this. You could color all your raw vegan creations, banana ice cream and everything. This is like blue, and this is like a dark blue in water, but because I just put too much in. But like in like banana ice cream, it's like light, bright, fluorescent blue. It's just beautiful. Anyway, that is coming. It will be here on YouTube and on my website in a couple of weeks. This is like so. Anyway, so nutritionally dense, as much nutrition as you can get with less obstruction in the body as possible. It makes logical sense. There's no better diet than that. Eating the least amount possible with the most amount of with enough nutrition to satisfy the body's needs. And then since you're getting enough nutrition in the smallest form, that form is so small that it obstructs the body the least, you age the least, you live the longest, blah, 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 blah. That is the ideal diet. How come we're critiquing raw vegan versus raw vegan in a little potato or something like that? Like, this is just like below us. It's almost like you're just not all there if you do stuff like that. It's like unkind. Who are you? Be kind. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm a complete jerk. Don't get me wrong. But like, I'm just trying to put points here. Anyway, that's it, everybody. 23-year ex-raw vegan comes out and speaks about the raw foods diet. Coming to a theater near you. All this stuff is available at therawfoodworld.com. Go to juice powders if you want to go check out the juice powders. The category juice powders on the left there. I don't know. Everything's backwards on video. I don't even know anymore. And then just click the juice powder category. Sunflower lecithin, just type that in the search field if you want that. choline is critical. I gotta do a video on this just so you guys know what I'm talking about. Right now, you don't even know what I'm talking about. But this is like mind blowing. If you email me on Facebook, message me on Facebook, I'll give you the article and you just gotta read it. All right, this is like 50 minutes. This is Matt Monarch coming to you live. I'm back. I've got to be back. Come on. Let's do this, Matt. You could do it. 3 times a week. You could do it, Matt. This is Matt Monarch with the Raw Food World TV show.